welcome to We the People. This past week we have seen that Greenpeace has made the government see red. Perhaps in an unprecedented collision course, the government's lawyers have strongly argued in court that one of Greenpeace's activists, Priya Pillai, was not just anti-national in the perspective of the government, but should be forbidden from canvassing her causes outside India. Priya Pillai was of course stopped from proceeding to London, where she was going to meet with a group of British parliamentarians to talk about a coal block in India that Greenpeace is protesting against, a coal block that SR Energy is involved in, and Greenpeace's argument has been that SR is registered in London, hence Priya Pillai was headed to London. But on We the People today, we ask the larger question. Is the government on a collision course with NGOs in general and Greenpeace in particular? Why would the government invest any political capital in this battle when India has so many other genuine battles? But does the NGO sector also have to account for itself and offer greater transparency? A Home Ministry report says, and this was from 2014, that NGOs get 11,500 crores in foreign funds. But according to this report, only 2% of the 20 lakh NGOs file returns. Is this a figure that the NGO world accepts? And who's right and who's wrong when it comes to the world's largest democracy on this collision between liberty versus national interest as the government has positioned it? I'll start with you, Sambit Patra. Is this really the battle you need to be fighting? You have made Priya Pillai sitting next to you, whom none of us knew a week ago, one national headline. So actually you've helped her, not yourself.
We have helped the country, by the way.
How?
Now I'm coming to that point, but with a caveat that these documents are very important documents.
Which documents?
I mean the IB reports and all that you were speaking about.
Yes.
So I also derive my knowledge as you derive your knowledge from newspapers only.
Yes.
Priya Pillai, I wish you good, but Priya Pillai has all her constitutional rights.
Your government law officers called her an anti-national person in court. You're wishing her well.
No one is. There's a point of view over here.
Yeah.
Her constitutional rights have never been curtailed.
Yes.
As far as the lookout circular was concerned, it was for a particular event, and that particular event was her going to the UK to depose before the APPG, the all-party parliamentary group, which the intelligence bureau of this country had reports that because of the personal deposition of Miss Priya Pillai, would take up this issue and use it as a foreign policy instrument to see to it that India is ranked low in the perspective of tribal welfare.
And why would Greenpeace want this? Why exactly would Greenpeace want
Exactly.
this?
This is a very pertinent question, to which, Barkha, I would say, and I believe most of us would agree over here, with all due respect to Greenpeace and Ms. Priya Pillai, that I would first repose faith on the constitutional agencies of the countries like Intelligence Bureau and thereafter on any NGO.
It's not a constitutional agency, just so that our words are a little transparent and reflective.
Exactly. IB is not a constitutional agency.
It's not even a statutory body.
But the courts are. The courts are part of...
Just a second. It may not be a constitutional body.
Okay, complete your point.
It may not be
a statutory body.
Indira, just a second. It may not be...
I think he's hallucinating.
Introduced
you made him nervous, I think.
No, I'm the instrumentality of the state of India.
I'm not at all nervous. Okay, Sambit, complete your point, then I want to
point is, I have more faith on the Intelligence Bureau of the country and the deposition that it has made than Greenpeace.
Okay.
Than Greenpeace.
Okay.
So definitely I stand by what the Intelligence Bureau of this country says.
Priya, let me start with you and then we'll get Vrinda, who's involved in the legal defense of Greenpeace.
We should not come in Indian.
Please. Rajiv and Meghnad have been waiting. Rajiv, please.
My research, which I published 4 years ago in a substantial book, since I lived in the US for 45 years, is based on US funding sources for countries like India.
Yes.
Who they are, what they do, why they are doing it, how they're linked with the government, with the CIA, with church, with various authorities.
Yes.
And I have named people like Udit Raj and John Dayar, whom I debated as a
Udit Raj is the BJP MP.
Yes, I know
from
that.
Delhi.
We don't know
No,
that.
I'm telling people. You and I know it. The people should also
But I'm
know
not
it.
concerned about...
He's the BJP MP. I know Rajiv is not.
I'm not concerned about who he is.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying...
What is your point?
And they have given testimony in Washington to official government agencies, the Congress, to impose sanctions against India on various grounds. And this business about Obama coming and scolding India for religious freedom and human rights, one has to link it to where he got it from. Obama is not a scholar on this. He got it from the US Commission on International Religious Freedom. And that commission is where these gentlemen and many others like them have gone and given testimony.
So how does this link to the debate around...
So the debate is that Indians are actually being hired, employed to provide what Americans call atrocity literature, which is a very American term, which means what are the atrocities in that country. So atrocity literature was used as an argument to attack Iraq for human rights interventions. Atrocity literature was used in many foreign interventions.
So you're saying this is a grand American conspiracy?
No, it's not a conspiracy. It's established. The term atrocity literature, you look up, you guys should look up. It's a well-established American term.
What stops me
because
from using other avenues?
Pressure, you're using
no,
influence.
sir, let me just complete.
Okay, Sambit, let me put the question to you a little bit differently. I think Meghnad makes an interesting point. Does the government not come across as paranoid and insecure by focusing so much on one person and one NGO?
Yes.
By all means, dislike Greenpeace. By all means, hate them, hate their
pick up
politics.
one word of what the Lord said. He said, who cares? Who cares? The government made a propaganda out of it. I would say, no, everyone cares. Lord Desai, I mean, right now, about 10 days ago, we were discussing, the whole of the media was discussing about what Obama was saying against India. What Obama was discussing about the Christian missionaries, the Christians not being, being tortured in India. But tell me, are really Christians or Muslims, for that matter of purpose, tortured in India? Just please don't.
No, that's a whole different show.
Why is my speech curtailed? I am not interrupting anyone. I have a constitutional right of speaking in the big fight. Allow me. I would request both my friends on either side. See, you should be at peace. You are Greenpeace. Be at peace. Allow me. Greenpeace. You are not being peaceful over here.
But the question here is,
be peaceful. If you are truthful, then be at peace. I'm at peace with myself.
Now, once again, my only point is Obama and his comments.
If only you all allow me to speak.
Let him speak.
What Mr. Rajiv was saying about the religious freedom. 2014, some people go and depose in America, and then we should know, the audience should know, that America releases a document where it places India alongside Pakistan as country of particular concern. And this paper goes out across the globe that please don't go and do business in India, because business in India cannot flourish. This hampers our FDI, this hampers the investment, because it becomes a document of interest for all the people who are interested in business in India. So what happens to Make in India? What happens to the employment that we are
how does this link to the current debate? Sambit, quickly then.
It is linked to the current debate because all these, this kind of sanction that comes only comes because of personal deposition of people like my friend Ms. Pillai. This government at least had the courage to stop. No constitutional rights were wrong.
Okay, Vrinda, I have a question for you. I want to come. Now, I have a question. This week, Canada's intelligence also called Greenpeace a violent and growing threat to its energy and security interests. Why do I bring this up, Vrinda? Because we are not the only country that is grappling with how to tackle Greenpeace's positioning or its politics. I'm quoting from a Canadian intelligence report, questions its foreign funding.
Now, if you have a global economy, but I'd like to answer that.
Once again,
can we please, throughout when Sambit was answering you, what were the concerns that he was highlighting? The concerns of business.
India was the only concern, remember.
He said
there is no second India is the only concern.
You just taught me manners, right?
I was just giving you the taste of your own medicine.
Okay. Barka, can I just...
No, let Vrinda answer that. We'll come back to it.
Since the man...
So I come back to the 8 out of the 11 NGOs opposing the Kudunkulam nuclear plant funded by European donors.
Nuclear energy has been, and so has fossil fuel and climate change, are issues of global debate. If foreign companies are going to invest...
You never preach America on carbon emission. You never preach America on carbon emission. You have to preach India only on everything.
The US does not feel the same pressure.
Once again, if you all speak together, it is impossible to follow.
I would request... I'm sorry, they don't... If you're not going to let others finish and allow Sambit Patra to...
But you've spoken the most so far. You have the freedom to say something.
Are you now feeling insecure?
Okay, come on. Okay, Vrinda, one sentence, then Rajiv, and then Kavita's been waiting a long time. Vrinda, please make your
come in after Vrinda.
Human rights are going to be issues of global concern. They will be raised globally. There will be no borders on this. Energy concerns of countries will have to be balanced with rights of people.
Okay.
That is the debate taking
Kavita,
place globally.
okay, 1 minute.
That's
Now
not
we are
true.
getting lost in a
That's
haze
not
of
true.
detail here.
You probably haven't.
Rajiv and Meghna,
Yeah,
please.
the
And
point
then
was
I'm taking questions. Raise your hand if you have questions.
I think there's a false perception that
Yes.
this human rights activism all over the world is global and beyond borders and all that stuff, because the impact on strong countries like the United States is not the same.
Yes.
They couldn't care a damn. China couldn't care a damn. Russia couldn't care a damn.
That's a good
France
point.
couldn't care
You
a
want
damn.
to become
Britain couldn't
China?
care a damn. Wait
But
a
do we
second.
want to be
what
like China, sir?
What I'm saying is that the countries that have funded you, created these ideas and idealized this and made it very fashionable for Indians to get into this kind of a profession.
So we should ignore
No,
human
wait,
rights
wait, wait a
violations.
second. Wait a second. Let me
Priya,
speak.
you've all had your say.
Let me speak that.
Let him
The
speak.
impact of the United States is zilch compared to the impact, or you can have campus protests here, there. Nobody cares a damn. It is weak countries where the state is weak, and divided and fragmented, where the impact is stronger.
Even the ordinary
It is not
accountability
even
gets...
a government
Let
state.
us on funding, please let me make a point on
one
funding
question and then you
I
can
don't know what
respond.
you are arguing.
Okay, Kavita, let's take a question.
You seem to have a problem with human
Sir, with
rights
all
in
due
first
respect,
place.
I feel that you are very speculative towards our government in that you have said that the government is guilty and the government is insecure. Whereas, don't you think that the government is taking the right step to stop Miss Pillai and going out and disclose...
Why do you
the
think
right
it's the right
step?
step?
Because we have seen countries like Iraq, like Afghanistan, that have underdetermined because of the interventions of Western worlds. They have fallen and they have deteriorated. Why do you want the same to happen to India?
Why
Can you
Priya Pillai
seriously
talking about
compare-
Mahan
Can you
exploiting our resources?
The question is for Meghna, let him answer, then
Can
Kavita.
you
Yeah.
seriously compare India with
With
Iraq and
Iran?
Afghanistan? This is a big country. Hang on. This is a big country. By stopping Priya Pillai from going, the government has given more publicity that here is something to hide.
Okay.
India has nothing to
Okay,
hide.
Kavita,
India has
on
nothing
funding,
to hide.
Kavita, the next
whatsoever.
question. Kavita, the
India
next question,
should
and Rajiv.
Let
Come
the
on.
whole world come here.
Okay.
Let the whole world come here and look at
But
India.
Meghna,
We are not worried.
Meghna, you haven't addressed Rajiv's point that there's an asymmetry in the influence. I think
There's
that's...
an asymmetry of power between the countries. So even if you hit them equally, the stronger doesn't get hurt as much as the weaker gets hurt. And the countries that are leading the
strong
NGOs,
country.
there are no...
We are a strong country.
No, wait a
We are
second.
not a weak country. We are a strong country.
There are no
We are
great...
not worried about
No, I
America.
Wait a
have
second.
responded.
We are not worried about
Hear each other, Rajiv and then Kavita. Yes.
We don't hear of great NGOs starting from Africa that go around the world, or Latin America that go around the world. Don't they have a view? Aren't they intelligent people?
How can I
Why
come-
is it that Western-inspired, Western
Okay,
ideological NGOs, West is
Okay,
20%
Kavita.
20% of the...
FDI.
Okay.
The rights of the people who you and I don't usually see or hear about, the indigenous
But
population...
her question is
given-
different. Why don't you have trust in the judiciary to
Yes.
settle
They
this
have.
dispute?
Of
They
India.
have. There are
Judiciary of
many
India, our
proceedings.
judiciary.
There
Yes.
are many proceedings happening, both in the Indian state. When you do advocacy,
Then you should have
do it
patience.
when-
You should have patience
when
to
you
wait
do
for the outcome.
advocacy,
for
when
more
you do
years,
advocacy,
not continue to
do
wait.
not.
After 14 years,
When
if the
you do-
Supreme Court does not deliver something, you'll rush to America
When
or
you
England
do
to say that the
advocacy,
Supreme Court of
you
the
do
country is not
advocacy
functioning.
globally.
So you
Okay,
take
okay,
over.
okay,
Let
Sambir,
the
let
Indian
us
function.
answer.
Look
Okay.
at the contrast. To
Sambir.
what ma'am asked.
look at-
To what ma'am
look
asked.
at-
I
let him
I have an
speak.
answer on
No.
board.
Can
Look at
I
Rajiv
give the
Malhotra,
answer?
who has been staying in America
Balka,
since 45
Balka.
years. He has faith in India. But look at us, who stay in India, who have faith in West. We should
We
learn
do
from
not
Rajiv
have
Malhotra.
Can
We
we
have
have
rules
like
like
one person fix the other?
Okay, yeah, okay, listen guys, we're almost at the end of the show, so I'm requesting all of you now.
Every 4 hours.
I'm-
What if I write an article? Will you stop the internet?
Okay, let Rajiv,
Will that
let
article not be read by
JK
some
Bajaj
people?
respond
Writing
to
an
that.
article and deposing
When
in person
Israel
in
attacks
Parliament is
Palestine.
different.
Okay, 1
issue.
minute.
When
I
Israel
can write
attacks
10 articles.
One minute.
Speak out.
But I cannot go.
We
and
have
no.
5 minutes
I
left on
cannot
the
go
show.
depose
I
in
have
front
to
of
take a
Parliament.
break. We have 5 minutes left on the
Israel
show.
bombed
I have to take a
Palestine,
break.
Indians took
I am
possession.
requesting all of you to make your last comments without interrupting each other. Let's just hear from the audience. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. Freedom is paramount, and you won't barter it for all the stars in
That's what the court
in
said.
the sky.
Yes, in
Yeah,
another
that's
case.
what the court
but okay,
said.
yeah.
So my question is, repeatedly, anybody who opposes the government or clearly just has a different opinion is reprimanded. So why is this fault in our freedom really condoned?
Can we take one more question and then Sambit you can respond to that?
Yeah, actually, I have something similar to say. We always portray democracy as one of our strengths, but aren't we curtailing it by not letting her go and speak.
If we are proud of our democracy and our freedom, that means we have the means within our own country to resolve disputes without going to some ma-baap elsewhere. The British came to India because they positioned themselves as people who offered law and order and justice to Indian people, which the Indian people could not do on their own. So if we are helpless people, victims looking to the West for ideas and looking to the West for guiding us, we are not a democracy then. We are basically a sham democracy if we can't solve our own problems using our own systems.
See, I'll give a very philosophical answer. How I wish that the world should be a single world. There should be no divisions, no boundaries. But the reality is we have geopolitical boundaries and we are called as nations and countries. Let America dissolve its boundaries. Let other countries dissolve.
Kavita, I know your hands up, but I've got to take a break. When we come...
issue of locating the tribals so that the Greenpeace does not have to intervene at all.
Very good. Very important.
Okay, you have a question.
You know, SR, it is based in the UK, but it works over here, right? The problem is in India. Why can't you keep it in India and battle against SR in India itself?
Yes. Okay, let's take a couple of more questions and then we can get last comments. Yes.
The whole debate is about IB report here. Don't you think that the IB report is partisan here? Don't you think that we have a need of another report wherein a commission has got wide representation even from Greenpeace and the NGOs?
Okay.
Yeah. I think we should realize that we are living in a world where dissent is criminalized. Where any form of saying out things which the government doesn't approve of, right at the level of a Greenpeace activist flying to UK or a person in the ground,
you see it as anti-dissent,
or a person in the village against the collector, everybody is criminalized and put in jail.
Okay, last two questions here and then final comments from our panel. Yes.
The defense from the government on this violation of fundamental rights is that because we get impositions and sanctions from Western countries based on the testimony of the activists. Yeah. But what about the army of IFS officers we have posted outside? Can't they submit the government side on the...
So can't India's diplomats India's point of view?
Technical point.
Sambit, I'm coming.
Yeah. We're not trying to understand here that the environmental degradation and human rights violation is not a national issue, it's a global phenomenon. So we need to focus here on the human rights violation.
Okay, last question.
There's a specific pattern that I see in the NGOs, that 90% of their energies are invested in opposing something new which is happening. I don't see that enthusiasm in promoting new projects, in say promoting a solar project or promoting a wind farm, as much as they invest their energies in opposing something new which is happening.
Now we'll start with last comments. We'll start with you, Kavita. 40 seconds to everybody. Equal time to everybody.
SR has destroyed everything. Okay. And climate change and environmental sustainability are global issues. There must be global advocacy.
Sambit, 40 seconds.
All this.
Sambit, 40 seconds.
Indian government does not stop anyone from going and deposing in United Nations because there even the Indian perspective would be taken into view. But you cannot go and depose in UK or America because they do not take the Indian view. What is this? What is this? I was not interrupting. Have mannerism and civility.
Please, we're at the end of the show.
Please, be civil.
We're at the end of the show.
Secondly, the Britishers have left India. They did not work for India. Don't think that they will come and work for India. Don't try to bring them back.
Okay. The British company is destroying India.
Okay, I want to ask the government.
40 seconds.
Yes, I want to ask the government, what is the government trying to do by protecting the economic interests of a company that's registered in UK who are violating rights of communities in Mahan? I didn't disturb. I want to speak.
Exactly the same number of times.
It's her time now. It's her time.
Also, the people of Mahan are fighting for their lives and livelihoods, and why can't the government act on them? We've been shouting from on top of the roof for 4 years that there's forgery that's happened there, everything is wrong. What has the government done till date? I want to know that. Come out and do something about it.
Rajiv, last comments.
Okay. Indian problems should be solved by Indian people in India. And if the democracy needs improvement, the tribals need more rights or anything like that, we have to fix our system. If the legal system is not working, we have to fix our system. But the solution is not by running off somewhere else. Also, the West has double standards. Look what happened to Snowden. Look what happened to Julian Assange. Yeah. These are May I have my 40 seconds without your interruption, please?
Okay, come on.
So they are speaking with double-faced because on the one hand they have suppressed their own freedom, and on the other hand they're championing Indians' freedoms. Basically, what they are doing is recruiting an army of new kind of sepoys. Like the British had sepoys with guns. Now we have sepoys with atrocity literature who go around fighting against India.
Meghnad, we've got to close the show.
I think India